Hello everyone, Sylvan Bell coming to you live from Maui. I'm at Makena Beach Park. It's a perfect day. It's 3:07, April 20th. Today's 4:20. Kind of funny, I think. So we're gonna talk about what you could do to get better at sales. Now, one of the best things you could do is take improv classes. And one of the things that they teach you in improv is you never tell somebody no. Because you never know the situation. So if they get up on stage and they start talking and then they say, hey, I'm at the beach, and then they go, hey, no, you're not. It just totally screws everything up. So what they teach you is yes and. Yes and. So 2 words. So they say, hey, I'm at the beach. You go, yes, you are, and so am I, right? And it's a way to add to the conversation. Now, there are times where you do have to tell your buyer, hey, no, and say, hey, that's not gonna work. But for the most part, there's not gonna be very many times that that's gonna happen. And one of the ways that you can soften it up is by figuring out to say yes and. Yes and, okay? So there's probably been a situation that you've been through recently where you could have used this. And if you have a significant other, this is a good person to practice with. Or if you're at a bar or hanging out, usually the best place to practice anything is a low value conversation. A low value conversation is somebody you will probably never see again. It's kind of like one of those, like I meet somebody walking by on the beach like I did yesterday, and they tell me something that's not accurate, so I throw out a yes and. It's just a way for me to keep the conversation going and not stop that conversation, because a lot of times when you stop the conversation, you stop your momentum and it creates some challenges and it creates some issues for you, okay? So figure out how you're gonna use the term yes and. Yes, and how are you going to use it in the conversation? How are you going to use it in an objection? How are you going to use it when the person asks you a tough question? How are you going to use it when a person, gives you an answer that's inaccurate? Just figure out how you're going to do it. Just start practicing it in low value conversations, and then start practicing it and putting it into the sales process, okay? Now, if you could do a small favor for me in the box down below, leave a comment, question, or story, that'd be fantastic. To the right or to the left, there is a subscribe button. Subscribe, and then send it out to all your friends via StumbleUpon, Facebook, Twitter, Google+. Sylvan Bell. Only Scott Bell. Someone will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Aloha.